Hi everyone, good morning. Today is 19th of May and I welcome you all to the Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. Guys, I hope that the stream is visible and audio is audible. We were trying to connect it for a very long time. And please guys comment if voice is audible and if video is visible properly, please let us know. Okay guys, so let's start with the video for today. So in the today's video, we are going to discuss the entire analysis of the Hindu newspaper. We'll take all the articles which are relevant for our examination along with the background. And I would also like to tell you that you can download the explanation notes of our session from our Telegram channel. Link is given in description box in YouTube. Now, first of all, before starting, let's see the overview of entire newspaper so that we can understand that which articles are actually important for the examination. So coming on the first page guys, so largely we have the political articles here, not important for our examination. So please don't waste your time in going that. Then there is this advertisement. Then coming to the city section. So if you have different edition, this city section will be different, but most of the time the city section contains the regional political news, crime related news, law and order issues and all such kind of things. So here the political issue, Delhi government seeks centers not to appoint PK Gupta as the new chief secretary. All these things are going on. Moving on, then we have these tenders, advertisements, etc. Fine. So we will move on in this particular direction. Again, the political articles, etc. They have been given. Then this is Metro Plus page, which contains the lifestyle genre related issues. Fine. Now coming to editorial page. So on editorial, now we have this article, a long drawn test for India's diplomatic skills. So this article is actually giving entire year's itinerary, that what prime minister's important visit will be, what important meetings will be, and how India is going to balance all those things, which will demonstrate India's diplomatic skills. We will take this article. Then two to tango, the Congress must show the success of its inclusive vision in Karnataka. So again guys, we have this article, a political article, not very much important for the examination, so no need to go too much in detail. Money is about more than just survival. Okay, so guys, basically what this article is talking about. So recently Bernie Sanders has written a book by the name of It's Okay to Be Angry About Capitalism, and it has been said that it is because of capitalism that inequalities in income and the wealth have increased. Now the article says that for example in 2012 and 2002 and 15, there basically Daniel Kahneman and Angus Deaton, they said this thing, that after you earn $75,000 per year, beyond that your happiness level will not change. Then other studies there which says that no, your happiness level will change as and as you'll increase more and more, as and you'll earn more and more money. So this particular article talks about that how much particular percentage of households in America are earning and all those kind of things. Fine. Now the article doesn't contain much of substance with respect to the examination. Then here warning. So guys, if you remember, yesterday we have seen one article where World Meteorological Organization, they have given its report and had provided that 23 to 27 will be the warmest 5 years on the record, and already 2015 to 2022 have been warmest 8 years on the record, and between 23 to 27 there will be at least 1 year which will see the temperature rising above than 1.5 degrees Celsius on more than the average temperatures that have been there. So again the same things have been repeated, and the article says that India need to invest in the infrastructure by which we can reduce the carbon emissions and ultimately we can reduce the uh, temperature rise that is happening. Okay. Then coming, can an integrated system of medicine work? We'll see this particular article. Moreover, if you remember, this article also we have discussed earlier, ICMR, which is now going to take the studies whether the allopathy and Ayurveda can be integrated. We'll take this article, don't worry. Then moving to text and context page, election and the airwaves. We'll see this particular article with respect to exam. What are RBI regulation on green deposits? We'll see this particular article also. Then coming to the next one, in the limelight. Now this limelight article talks about the Hollywood movies, TV series and all such kind of things. How Hollywood finally cracked the video game adaptation. So this article talks about the recent Super Mario Brothers movie, okay, and how that movie has performed on the box office, their collections, etc. Article doesn't contains much of substance for the examination, so I'll not recommend you to go too much in detail here. Then further moving on, Supreme Court sets aside West Bengal's ban on the Kerala story. So guys, recently we have seen this Kerala story movie which had claimed that 32,000 women were converted to Islam in Kerala, and because of that particular thing there were the states such as the West Bengal that put a ban on that. Fine. So this thing is going on. Fine. You are not required to track it every day. India is planning to hold Quad meet in Japan. We'll take this article. Moreover, on editorial, all in editorial also there is one article where it has been integrated. Then moving on, Japan seeks to send out strong message against Russia, Japanese envoy. Now see this thing. As this Russia-Ukraine war is going on, we know that world is divided in two parts. On one hand, Russia, China, and on another hand, West, US, and the countries aligned with the USA. So this actually has become a proxy war between the West and Russia, China. Fine. So here we see this thing that every other day there will be certain comments that will be made from the side of the US camp towards Russia, China, or sometimes from the Russia, China towards the USA and its allies. Not required to track these commentaries every day for your examination. Okay, because we need to track issues. Then moving on, political articles, guys, largely we have here. Why no full-time minister for law asks opposition? Okay, these tenders, etc. Now here, center pushes vaccination as lumpy skin ravages cattle. So we'll see this article for the examination. Okay, then bring back Kohinoor from the UK parliamentary panel committee report. We'll see this article. Rohingya refugee in India under arbitrary detention. So this report has been released with respect to the condition of refugees. We'll see this particular article also for examination. Then coming to world page. Okay, Pakistan police besiege Imran's home as deadline expires. Papua New Guinea to sign security pact with US. Okay, basically, then further moving on, guys. Not important article with respect to the examination. Okay, so this particular article talks about the security pact that will be signed by Papua New Guinea and US. Fine. We will be covering because the Indian Prime Minister is also making a visit to Papua New Guinea. Okay, then further, two dead in Chinese vessel. So a Chinese vessel had sunk here. Fine. Then further, coming to State Bank of India's Q4 profit, Indigo's Q4 profit. Okay, and the corporate trends largely have been given here. So we don't have much important article here in the business page. Then we have this sports page. Okay, so this is, guys, the overview of entire newspaper. Now let's discuss relevant articles for our examination one by one in detail. Now starting up, so this is the synoptic notes that you can download from our Telegram channel. Okay, link for Telegram channel is given in description box in YouTube. So guys, today we will be taking the quotation from Muhammad Yunus. Now Muhammad Yunus is Bangladeshi social entrepreneur. What Muhammad Yunus says? Okay, so Muhammad Yunus says, a minute, truly affordable but high quality healthcare tools and services are the only means by which quality healthcare can be provided to all. Now, when we talk about the quality healthcare, it is an inferred fundamental right integrated within the scope of Article 21, and Supreme Court in the Bandhua Mukti Morcha judgment has recognized that Article 20 within Article 21 right to health is a fundamental right. It cannot be denied. So, truly affordable and quality healthcare tools and services. Okay, quality healthcare tools, services, medical services, hospitals, these are the only way by which the quality healthcare can be provided to all. So we need to invest in capabilities of doctors, we need to invest in hospitals, we need to invest in infrastructure. Okay, so this particular quotation we can use with respect to the GS paper number 2, issues related to the health. Now moving on to the first article. Okay guys, just give me 10 seconds. Let me do some adjustment. Oh, Okay guys, just tell me one thing, is there a kind of a flickering that's coming? Please let me know if there is a kind of a flickering that's there in between. Is video very clear to you, or if there is some kind of flickering, please let me know guys. Okay, fine. I think now it is clear. I think now it is clear. Okay, sorry guys, sorry for the issue that came in between. Now, starting up with the first article for today. So, first article reads, what are Reserve Bank of India's regulation on green deposits? Now, we'll see this particular article with respect to GS paper number 3, issues related to banking. Moreover, also we will see this particular article with respect to GS paper number 3, issues related to climate financing, issues related to the climate financing. Now, let's see this particular article first of all. So, basically, now what has happened, the Reserve Bank of India has come out with the framework regarding green deposits. Now understand what are these green deposits. It is not something very different kind of thing, but how this particular concept works, let's understand this thing. So basically, how a particular bank functions. So what will happen? So a person will deposit the money in bank, okay, and the bank will provide some kind of interest to this particular person. Then what bank will do? Bank will take this particular money and will lend this money to some other person. Let's say another person whose name, now this is Mr. A, this person is Mr. B. So bank will lend this particular money to Mr. B. Mr. B can do whatever Mr. B wants with this particular money. For example, let's say Mr. B has taken the Mr. B can use this money for building a house. It could be a home loan. Mr. B can use that particular money for some business. It could be a business loan. Then in business, Mr. B could be doing n number type of businesses. But what are the green deposits? In the green deposit, when Mr. A is depositing money in the bank has to ensure that bank will lend this particular money to that project or to that person who will be using it in some climate sensitive kind of infrastructure project. For example, this particular money will be used or will be given as a loan only to the solar panel plants, or this particular money will be given to the loan to the person who will be doing some kind of a solid waste manage or some such kind of a climate smart program. Fine. So, for example, what can be these particular kind of projects? These projects could be projects of renewable energy. These projects could be projects of the waste management, e-waste management. These projects could be projects of the clean transportation, energy efficiency projects, afforestation projects. These projects are the green projects. These projects are the clean green projects. So all the deposit that the people are depositing and green deposit, their money will go in these kind of projects. That is the green deposit. Now, when we talk about the green deposit is nothing but one type of climate finance tool. There are, now you might have heard into the news that there are many financial products today which have some kind of a green application. For example, there are the green bonds. So government is issuing the bond and the government will use that particular money into the climate smart infrastructure projects. There are the green shares. Okay, so basically there are certain companies who promise to their stakeholders or their investors that we will use your particular money in such a way that our project, our factory, our business will not impact the climate. Okay, so there are the green shares, green bonds are there, green deposits now we are seeing. So what has happened recently, Reserve Bank of India had come out with these particular regulations about the green deposit. Okay, now so what is green deposit? Not very different from the regular deposits that bank accept, but the only difference is that bank has to promise that this particular money will be given to the environment friendly project. Now when we talk about the Reserve Bank of India, Reserve Bank of India had come out with a framework with respect to green deposit. And in this particular framework, Reserve Bank of India provides this particular thing that first of all, banks have to come out with a set of rules, they have to come out with a set of policies which will be approved by their boards, and these particular policies have to be followed before investing in the green, before taking the green deposit. Now what are these particular policies? So number one, they have to frame policies with respect to the green deposit. Now what these particular policies contain? These particular policies should contain that how the banks will basically, first of all, these particular rules need to be made public by uploading it onto the bank's website, and these particular rules should explain very clearly that here the banks will disclose regular information about the amount of green deposits they have received, how much money they have received, how these deposits were allocated, how these deposits were given to the loan to the different kind of projects. What is the impact of such investment on the environment, whether it is having some positive impact or impact is not there. All these particular things have to be decided in the rules, and these rules have to be made available to the public. Then there will also be a third party audit that will be done on the bank's claims. For example, bank said that we raised 100 crore rupees in green deposit and those 100 crore rupees have been given to the loan. So there will actually be the audit process that will happen, which will ensure that whether 100 rupees have been given to green projects or not. Bank suppose say that this much impact we have created on the environment, so whether it has happened or not. So all these particular things will be verified by the third party audits also. Moreover, Reserve Bank of India had also come out with a particular projects that could be classified as green projects. So I have given you this particular list: renewable energy, waste management, clean transportation, all these will be the green projects. Moreover, these particular rules also ensure that there is no green washing. There is no green washing. Now, what is green washing? So basically guys, green washing means, I will give you one example, then you will be able to understand this thing. So today what is happening, many of the companies, they are coming and making a claim that our product is environment friendly, and if you use our product, you will be able to reduce the carbon emissions by this much percentage. Okay, but actually their process is not that much clean. Actually their process products are not environment friendly. Why they are showcasing their products as environment friendly? Just to attract the conscious consumers. So today the consumers have become really conscious. They want to ensure that the products that they are consuming should not have some harmful impact onto the environment. So to attract these kind of consumers, greenwashing, that is misleading advertisements, are being shown. So basically the project, the money that is going on, fine, there should not be greenwashing. For example, a company took a loan of 100 crore rupees from the State Bank of India and says that our production process is the green production process, but actually their production process is not green process. Okay, so what are the greenwashing? It refers to making misleading claims about the positive environmental impact of an activity. So thus greenwashing should not happen. Okay, so this is about the Reserve Bank of India's rules, Reserve Bank of India's norms about the green deposits. Fine, I hope that you have understood it. Now moving to the next article, elections and the airwaves. Elections and the airwaves. Now this particular article will see with respect to the GS paper number 2 issues related to polity, and there can be some kind of a question even in the prelims examination that might come, but I will just one thing that you please need to keep in your mind, please don't go too much in detail that how much broadcast time, how many minutes are given to this party, how many minutes broadcast time is given to that party, all these things. Okay, now first of all, before going on in this particular article, let's understand some of the background. So recently we have seen that the Karnataka elections got concluded, and during the Karnataka elections, basically 6 national parties, 6 recognized, fine, 6 recognized political parties, okay, or 6 recognized national parties, they were given the free broadcast time, or they were given the free air time on public broadcasters, that is All India Radio Akashwani, All India Radio Akashwani, and as well as on Doordarshan. During the elections, they were given the free broadcast time. So guys, even in your polity, in your Lakshmikant book, you might have already read that what are the benefits of getting the recognized party status, national party status. So they get the free broadcast time. Okay, so 6 recognized national parties and 1 of a recognized state party also, they were given the broadcast time. So what is provision with respect to it? So basically guys, when we talk about the elections, With respect to the elections, detailed provisions are not provided within the Constitution of India. The Constitution of India mentions about the Election Commission of India, but detailed provisions are provided in two of the Act. That is the Representation of People Act 1950 and second is Representation of People Act 1951. So, providing the free air times, providing the copy of the electoral roll, all these things are provided in the RPA. So, basically, when we talk about, we have this Representation of People Act 1951, and under this Representation of People Act 1951 there is this particular facility to provide free airtime to the political parties during the election. This amendment was brought in 2003 that they should be provided the free broadcast time. Why this particular amendment was brought? It is because of the Supreme Court judgment. So Supreme Court in this particular judgment by the name of Secretary, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting versus Cricket Association of Bengal and ANR. In this particular judgment, Supreme Court provided this particular thing that, see, the radio broadcast that is happening, TV broadcast that is happening, it happens through the airwaves. It happens through the airwaves. Supreme Court said that these airwaves are actually public property. These airwaves are public property and these airwaves should be used in such a way that they bring greater public good, greater public good. Then Supreme Court brought another equation. Supreme Court said that we live in a democracy, and in democracy, elections are the lifeblood of a democracy. Fine, they say that elections are the lifeblood of a democracy. Okay, and therefore we should use these airwaves to inform the voters, to inform the electors about the activities of the political parties. At the same time, we also need to ensure that abuse of these airwaves should not happen for some political purpose. So therefore, on this particular basis, these guidelines were framed, and in RPA, there was an amendment was done in 2003, and it was provided that the recognized national party, state party, they will be given some broadcast time. Now, such kind of thing is not unique to India. It was done in US also, even in UK, even in the UK, the political parties, they are allocated the designated slots, which are called as the party political broadcast. And in UK, fine, basically there is so this is happen. Moreover, the transcripts of the political parties, what they are saying, what they are containing there, these particular transcripts are also vetted to ensure that they adhere to the relevant codes. Okay, particularly in UK also, fine. Now, when we talk about India also, guys, so when the political parties are making the using these airwaves, carrying their campaign, they should not be containing the content which is critical of other countries, attacking religion or other communities, or might incite violence, or is carrying some personal attacks. Is it clear or not? So this is about the airwaves or the broadcast time, the time on the DD channel that is being given to the political parties. But if we see this particular thing, who can get this broadcast time on Akashvani or on the Doordarshan? This particular broadcast time is available to the national and recognized state parties. But what about the parties who are neither the national party or nor who are the recognized state party? What about those political parties? They will not get this particular broadcast time. So there are sometimes criticism that it is not truly equitable, and we need to bring the arrangement for the other unrecognized parties also. So this is all that thing which is important in this particular article. One thing, guys, please don't go too much in detail in information such like this. For example, it has been given that how much time was given. The parties were allocated a base time of 45 minutes, okay, and additional slot based on the performance. A total of 630 minutes were given. Then, so no need to go too much in that particular type of detail. Now, moving to the next article. Moving to the next article. Okay, so this is the next article that we have. Okay, Rohingya refugees in India under arbitrary detention denied exit permission. Now, this particular article will see with respect to the GS paper number 2 refugee issues, GS paper number 2 refugee issues, as well as in GS paper number 4 ethics. We can see this particular article. Okay, on refugees, a question on ethics has already been asked in exam as well. Okay, so let's see what the article is actually talking about. But before going on in this particular article, guys, I would like to tell you some of the basic concepts that you should know. Now, understand this particular thing. First, you might have heard about the word asylum seeker. Asylum seeker. Asylum seeker is a person Fine. Now suppose there is a home country, and let's say there is another country that is the host country. So a particular person escaped from his or her home country and wants that this host country should give asylum, should give a place to this particular person to live. Now who can ask asylum? If a particular person has some political viewpoints by which he might be persecuted in his home, if a particular person has a particular type of religious allegiance by which this particular person could be persecuted in home, so this person, okay, so political reasons can be there, religious reason can be there, ethnic reasons can be there, social reason can be there, so a particular person can go to the another country and can ask for the asylum. So these people are called as asylum seeker. Now guys, understand, if the host country has accepted the request of the asylum, then these particular people will be admitted to this particular country. Now understand this thing. Are these people the tourist? No. Are these people the citizen of this country? No. Okay. Are these people the illegal immigrants? Are these people the illegal immigrants? No. Why? Why? Because the illegal immigrants are the ones who have come without any permission, who have come without a valid visa, who have come without a valid passport. So these particular people will be accepted and they will be given certain rights also. Here comes the concept of the refugee. Now, one thing I want to clarify you here. Basically, guys, any person of another country who have entered the other country without the valid passport or without the valid visa, we call all of them as refugees, but that is not correct. Refugee is a technical term which is used by for those particular people who have applied for a refuge, who have applied for an asylum, and then their request has been accepted and they have been given limited number of rights. Those people are the refugees. Now understand this thing. Many number of people from Bangladesh, many people from Myanmar also have entered illegally in India. Neither they made any request nor they had passport, visa. They have entered just in India. We use the word refugee for them also. Are they refugee? No. Technically they are illegal immigrants, but we still use the word refugee. Okay, this is actually basically this is a kind of a way of reference, okay, that is done. Okay. Moreover, understand this thing, it is not wrong also. Just as a common usage, we call everyone as refugee. This is a common usage that is done. Okay, but you need to understand the technical things. Now, when we talk about the refugee, the international body for protection of the rights of the refugee is UNHCR, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. United Nations for High Commissioner for Refugees. Moreover, there is also a United Nations Refugee Convention also, 1951, United Nations Refugee Convention 1951. There is an additional protocol, that is the protocol of 1967 also to the Refugee Convention. Is it clear or not? Refugee Convention. Now, India has not signed the Refugee Convention of 1951. India has not signed the protocol of the Refugee Convention. And one more thing is that we also don't have a designated asylum policy for India. We don't have a designated asylum policy also. Okay, this is one thing. Now, Rohingyas. Who are the Rohingyas? So basically, Rohingyas are the Muslim community living in the Rakhine state of Myanmar, living in the Rakhine region of Myanmar. Now, these Rohingyas, these are the Muslims, and they were actually brought to the Myanmar during the time of the Britishers. Now, when we talk about the Myanmar, so these are the Muslims, but majority of the people in Myanmar, they belong to the Buddhist religion. So therefore, on the lines of religion, or as well as on the lines of the ethnicity, there is a division between the Rohingyas who are Muslims and the other people of Myanmar. So therefore, what has happened, Rohingya said that these people have been persecuted since a lot of time, and once the military has taken over in Myanmar, Rohingyas are being persecuted even more. Even United Nations Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, have provided this particular thing, that Rohingyas are one of the most persecuted community. So therefore, Rohingyas are going to Bangladesh, they are fleeing to India, they are even going to the countries such as Thailand, etc. And today it is being said that Rohingyas should be given the refugee status. Rohingyas should be given the refugee status so that they can live a life of dignity. Now, when we talk about India, guys, in India also a lot of Rohingyas have entered through the Bangladesh. Now, these people have entered illegally without the valid travel documents, so therefore they are the illegal immigrants in India. Okay, so they have entered. Now, there can be two things. A, they can be accommodated in India. Okay, actually there can be three things. A, they can be accommodated in India. Second thing, they can be deported back to that country. They can be deported back to the country from where they have come. And third, these people could be kept in a detention center. What is a detention center? Detention center are the type of camps where they will be put on and they cannot leave that particular camp. That is detention center. Okay, so these are the three things that can be done. Now basically guys, this report has been released, that is a shadow of refuge Rohingya refugee in India. A shadow of refuge Rohingya refugee in India. Now this particular report says that in India there are large number of Rohingya refugees that are there, Rohingyas that are there. Now India is neither giving them exit permission. Fine, now see this thing. It has been said that these Rohingyas, there are some third countries, there are some third countries, for example there are European countries who are ready to take these who are ready to take these Rohingyas in their own country, but then they have to be given an exit visa by India so that they can go to that particular European country. So India is not giving the exit permission to the Rohingyas. Secondly, it is being said that India has kept these particular Rohingyas in the detention center. Now understand this thing. I will tell you one particular principle is there of ethics that is often used, that is non-refoulement. 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 What is this non-refoulement? So non-refoulement principle is there in the context of the illegal immigrants or refugees. It provides that if an illegal immigrant, even if a person has escaped from their home country because they were persecuted there and they have come to some other host country, they will not be sent back to their home country if they can be persecuted back. So Rohingyas, they say that if you will send us back to Myanmar, we will be persecuted there. So non-refoulement provides that no country should send them back. Moreover, apart from the principle of non-refoulement, there is this International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. There is the Convention on the Rights of the Children, as well as there is this International Genocide Convention. It obligates India that India should not return the Rohingyas to Myanmar. They should not be returned back to their home countries because then they could be persecuted. So we cannot send them back. Okay, what we can do? We can allow them to stay in India. Okay, we should give them refugee status in India, or we can kept in detention center, or we may send them to some other third country. Now, when we talk about guys India, so basically what has happened, government of India has put a viewpoint in Supreme Court, and government of India had said this thing that Rohingyas are a threat to the national security. So they cannot be given the refugee status and they cannot be allowed to move in India. Why? Because they are the threat to the national security. So we cannot give them refugee status. We also are not deporting them back. Okay, and even we are not giving the exit permission. So it has been said that the Rohingyas, they are living in harsh conditions, fine, in the detention center where the focus on their settlement is not there. All these things are not there. Who provides this? This is not my viewpoint. This particular thing is provided in this particular report, a shadow of refuge, Rohingya refugees in India. Okay, so this is entire this issue that has come here. Fine. I hope guys that you have understood it. Now moving to the next article. Okay. ओके सीतामढ़ी बिहार सर, मैं ज्योग्राफी ऑप्शनल लिया हूँ सर, बता रहे थे 70% करंट का आता है एग्ज़ाम में, कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा, कैसे होगा, प्लीज़ आप गाइड कर दें. ओके डियर सीतामढ़ी, please first of all see your previous year papers of geography, and first of all you analyze by yourself that how much actually is coming from the current affairs. Understand this particular thing basically, and everybody who is watching this particular thing, I want to tell you this thing also. Many number of times in the optional, the things, the questions which are not very much directly coming from the syllabus, teachers, they say this thing that it is just coming from the current affairs. But now this is also that is happening. Many number of times the teachers are shifting the burden to the current affairs. That is also happening. So you first of all see that whether actually it was from the current affairs or not. And the second thing is that with respect to the geography optional, I will advise you to please discuss that particular thing with the teacher, because I didn't had the geography optional and I might not be able to help you that much there. However, current affairs anyhow is important even for your optional, even for your GS. So if anything is coming, we will take it that particular thing along. Okay, fine. So I hope that it is clear. Now, moving to the next article. A long drawn test for India's diplomatic skills. We'll see this particular article with respect to GS paper number 2, international relations, international affairs, India's relations, diplomatic relations, bilateral relations. Now, what this particular article is containing, guys, this particular article has actually given an itinerary of India, that where the Prime Minister will be visiting in the days to come, what diplomatic what engagements India is going to have. Okay, so let's see this particular thing. Okay, so a minute. So guys, we see this thing that just now. Okay, so the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Modi ji, is about to leave on a 3-nation visit. So he will be going on a 3-nation visit, that is Japan, Papua New Guinea and Australia. Fine. Now, this particular basically in this particular meet, the Prime Minister first of all will be attending the G7 meeting in Hiroshima, Japan. Okay. Now, one thing, guys, that is coming here is that when we talk about the G7, G7 is the group of 7 most industrialized and developed economies, and India is being invited to the G7. Fine. This shows that how India is important in deciding or in taking the calls on the important international matters. It shows India's important multilateral situation. So India will be going in the Japan and will be participating in this particular G7 meeting. Moreover, guys, as this particular G7 meeting is going to happen, it is said that there only on the sidelines the Quad, basically it has been said that onto the sidelines there will be the Quad meet that will also be carried between the 4 countries. Now, one particular thing I want to tell you guys, that the Quad meet was to happen earlier in Sydney in Australia, but US President Joe Biden had said that he will not be able to attend it there. So therefore, now in the Japan, on the sidelines of the G7, the 4 countries of the quadrilateral security dialogue, that is India, US, Japan, Australia, all these 4 leaders will be meeting there and will be discussing their important issues. Now, understand this particular thing, guys, that when we talk about India, right now India's foreign policy is the policy of strategic autonomy, strategic independence. Now, understand this thing. India has provided this particular thing very clearly. India has provided this particular thing very clearly, that we are not going to have any permanent friend, we are also not having any permanent enemy. We will choose our friends, we will choose our allies on the basis of need. Okay, this is India's viewpoint. And India, even the Minister of External Affairs, Mr. S. Jaishankar, had said that we will be moving for this strategic autonomy. Now, in this particular direction, there is a challenge that India is facing. What is this challenge? Understand this thing. Now, world is apparently divided. On one hand, Russia, China, on another hand, US and the Western Europe. Okay, and Western Europe and US wants that India should become clearly aligned to them, and Russia, China wants, particularly Russia wants that India should become clearly aligned to the Russia. India, they want that India should choose a side, but India is not choosing a side. India is balancing, and throughout this particular year, India has to balance between Russia, China and USA. We will see this particular thing. So right now, guys, India, the Prime Minister will be visiting Japan, Papua New Guinea and Australia. Okay, and moreover, guys, further moving on in this particular direction, as this Quad meet will happen in Japan on the sidelines of G7, it is also called as the coalition of democracies. Coalition of democracies. This meet will happen. Then after that, what will happening? The Prime Minister of India will be going on a state visit to US. Will be going on a state visit for the US in the month of June. Now, this is the honor that has been given by the US President to India, and inviting Indian Prime Minister onto the state visit shows that how importance USA gives to India. This is something that is happening. Then after that, just after that, in July, India will be hosting the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit. Fine. And in the SCO summit, which countries are going to participate? So Chinese president will be participating, Russian president will be participating, then Pakistan's prime minister, then leaders of the Central Asian states, as well as, okay, as well as the soon to be added, that is the president of Iran, president of Belarus. So Iran and Belarus are now being inducted into the SCO. So they will be coming. Moreover, under SCO, observer status to Myanmar has also been given. So they will be coming. Now, if you see all these countries, Russia, China, Pakistan, particularly Myanmar, all these particular countries are not very much aligned with the USA. They are on the side of the Russia and China. Now understand, we are going to India's Prime Minister is going to US, and just after the SCO summit will be hosted where all these leaders are going to come. So India is going to balance it, and this particular balancing is going to be a really big issue, a really big challenge for the India that India has to resolve. Moreover, even when we talk about the countries such as Myanmar, fine, USA has imposed the sanctions against the Myanmar. So basically, this entire grouping of SCO, it looks that it is an anti-Western grouping. It is an anti-Western grouping. Okay, but India is balancing with the SCO and USA at the same time. Moreover, just after the July, in the month of August, what will happen? There will be the BRICS summit that will be held in South Africa. And in this BRICS summit, again, the Prime Minister will be engaging with Russia, China, Brazil, South Africa. And you need to understand that what is the agenda that is going to be taken in this BRICS summit. The agenda will be the BRICS payment mechanism, which will help in reducing the dollar, which will help to reduce the domination of dollar. Now, I have used this particular word many number of times with you, de-dollarization. What is de-dollarization? Now, the world countries want to reduce the hegemony of the dollar in the international trade. So, the BRICS payment mechanism, they will propose some other kind of a settlement system so that the dollar dominated international system of payment, etc., can be reduced. Fine. Now, moreover, this particular thing shows that we are trying to build a kind of a counter narrative to US and Europe. Okay, so this is something, okay, that is happening. Okay, then guys, further moving on, after that what will happen? Then after the August, in September, India will host the G20 summit. India will host G20 summit in Delhi. And in this particular G20 summit also, the India's diplomatic skills will be tested. Why? Because when we talk about, guys, the G20, okay, now understand this thing, not since 2010, leaders of all the permanent member of the UNSC has visited India in the same year. See, even in the same year they have not visited, and now during the G20 we are bringing all the members of the UNSC in the same year, at the same time we are bringing them together. When we talk about the UNSC, within the United Nations Security Council, there is US, there is a China also there, then there is Russia is there, okay, then France is there, then the UK is there. Okay, now US, France and UK are aligned, but then what about the China and Russia? Okay, so we are bringing all of them at the same time. How India is going to balance them? Okay, so this is actually going to be a very big issue. So basically, guys, now India is playing the role of a balancing force. Okay, India has to balance that. On one hand there is Russia, China, on one hand there is West. Moreover, then India at the same time is also projecting itself as the leader of the Global South, and the Global South Summit was also recently announced by the India. So how India is going to balance it, it is something that we need to see, and therefore India needs to have deep diplomatic skills. India need to use the diplomatic language. Also, India need to use these particular things in such a way that the impression doesn't go that India is being opportunist. Rather, the impression should go that India is being to be the mediative. Okay, so this is something. So careful diplomatic skills will be needed here. Okay, now moving to the next article. Okay, so can an integrated system of medicine work? Now, this particular article will see with respect to GS paper number 2. We'll see this article with respect to the GS paper number 2, issues related to health. Now, before going in this particular article, let me give you some kind of a background. Moreover, we have discussed also this particular issue few days back. Let me explain you that particular thing also before, and then we'll go in this article. Okay, guys, see this particular thing. There is the modern medicine. Which is based on evidence, which is based on science. Okay, and that modern medicine that we have, we call it as allopathy. Modern medicine, it is referred to as allopathy. Okay, then apart from the modern medicine, there is the traditional medications, and these are traditional medications that we have. These are traditional medications. We have, for example, Ayush. We have Ayush. Now, A stands for Ayurveda, Y stands for Yoga, U stands for Unani, S stands for Siddha, and H stands for homeopathy. So these are the traditional medications. Now, from the now, guys, understand this thing. Since in the past times we have seen that allopathy and traditional medications, they don't go hand in hand. If a person is taking the Ayurveda as a treatment, then that particular person might not be taking the allopathic treatment. Or if a person is taking the allopathic treatment, that particular person might not be taking the Ayurveda's treatment. So they go divergent. Okay. Now what has happened? There is an idea that has been proposed that rather we should have an integrationist approach. What is integrationist approach? Along with the allopathy, we need to find that how Ayurveda can be merged. Okay, or how along with Ayurveda the allopathy can be merged. There have been certain reports in the past where it has been said that the results are encouraging if we use both the medication, modern as well as traditional, side by side. Fine. So a person having diabetes should be given certain treatment of allopathy, and at the same time Ayurveda that particular person can use. Okay. Now this is something that has happened here. Now, in order to now in this particular direction, guys, what has happened? Just a few days back, ICMR, Indian Council for Medical Research, they have said that they are going to carry the clinical trials. They are going to carry the clinical trials where they will test that whether the allopathy and traditional medicines can be combined together, yes or no. And in starting, what they are going to do, they will choose allopathy, and out of traditional medication, they will use Ayurveda. They will use allopathy and they will use Ayurveda, and there will be only a specific type of disease in which both allopathy and Ayurveda will be used together. By this particular thing, they will be used to have an evidence whether the integrationist approach is working or whether integrationist approach is not working. So this was a proposal of ICMR that they have brought recently. Okay, so the article is on that line also. Can an integrated system of medicine work or not? Fine. Now moving on in this particular direction. So I have already provided you this particular thing. This move will help Ayush departments at the AIIMS evolve a department of integrated medicine. So right now, for in the AIIMS also and many of the government hospitals, we have allopathy department, we have Ayush department. Then if this is successful, if this ICMR clinical trial is successful, then an integrated department can also be created. It will give more options to the people. Moreover, guys, if you just take one particular idea, India is also very much popular for medical tourism. And when we talk about the medical tourism, what better we provide? We provide the traditional medications along with the modern medications. And this integrated system of medication, if it works in India, it will be a very big attractor of the medical tourists in India. Now, so basically, when guys we talk about this thing, so basically what has happened already, one thing, already the Ayush Ministry, they have opened so already the Ayush Ministry, they have opened the OPDs, they have opened the, fine. So already the Ayush Ministry, they have opened the OPDs in the hospitals, fine, where along with the allopathy, Ayurveda, Ayush treatments are also being provided under the one roof. Now it is being provided that actually what will happen today when we talk about particularly the non-communicable diseases, and in the non-communicable diseases we have diabetes, we have cardiovascular diseases, the thyroid and all such kind of diseases. So there the treatment options are very much limited, and often the allopathy is able to stop the basically the allopathy is able to stop a particular disease progression, but it cannot, many number of times it has not been able to eliminate that particular disease. So therefore, Ayurveda and yoga, which have been called as the mind-body medicine, if they are integrated, then in the non-communicable disease, we can provide a better treatment. This has been provided, that it is going to be a better thing. But on another hand, we have another opinion which is critical of this particular thing. It has been said that this integrative medicine that we are talking about, it does not features in any scientifically progressive society of the world. Why? Because it is like mixing one thing that works with the other thing that doesn't works, and by the result giving a credit to the thing that doesn't works also. Let me give you example. Let me give you example. Let me give you example. Suppose there is a paracetamol. Now, when we talk about this paracetamol tablet, it has been proven that it reduces your fever. Paracetamol tablet reduces your fever. Okay. Then let's say in some of other traditional medication, it is said that consuming, just I'm putting a hypothetical example to explain you. Suppose it is said that consuming milk with two almonds, consuming milk with two almonds plus uh, ashwagandha reduces medicine. Suppose in any, let's say in Ayurveda or Siddha homeopathy, anywhere, it is said that consuming milk with two almonds and ashwagandha reduces the fever. Now what you have done, you have mixed, you have given the paracetamol and this particular thing together to a person. You have given this and this together to a person. And after 4 hours, we see this particular person's fever has went down. Earlier, this person, let's say, had 100 degrees Celsius fever. Now, this person's fever is normal 98.4. Okay, 98.6. Okay, so the person's fever has come down. You say that paracetamol and these two things have worked together. Now, understand this thing, paracetamol works definitely. Maybe there could be a possibility that only paracetamol has worked and just paracetamol has worked, and that credit you are giving to this also. Okay, so it has been said that mixing the allopathy and traditional medication, etc., will be like mixing one thing that works and one thing doesn't works, and giving the credit even to the thing that doesn't works. If you want to show that it actually works, then don't give paracetamol. Don't just give this thing and then show that whether the fever has went down or not. Fine, then we will be able to know that whether this system is effective or not. Okay, because we have already seen that only giving paracetamol will help in reducing the fever. So this system's efficacy we have already seen. This system's efficacy we have not seen. Now you are saying that mix them both. No, there might be a possibility that only this system is giving the entire result, but credit is going there. So therefore it has been said. That this particular thing might not be a very good idea. Therefore, such integrationist approach doesn't features even in the modern progressive societies. Moreover, it has also been provided that 50% of people actually use complementary alternative medications and 70% have used it some point of their time. Why they are using it? So the article says that it is because they are being promoted or advertised. People many number of times they just use it because somebody promoted or they have seen some kind of an advertise. There is no evidence based benefit of these particular alternative traditional medications. Okay, moreover it has also been said that even there can be also the issues related to, we lack data on safety, efficacy. A lot of people developed side effects while consuming these traditional medications. Many number of times they are reporting, many number of times they are not reporting. Moreover, there is a lot of adulteration, contamination or direct toxicity even in this particular herb products. Many of the herbs that we are consuming, it might leave a toxic effect. Okay, moreover on these herbs also there is so much detailed studies have not happened on the traditional medications. Okay, moreover quality control is very much important. Okay, there has to be standardization of formulations, fine, or randomized control trials, etc. They needed to be there. For modern medications they are there, but for traditional medications they are not there. Okay, now the article is saying that actually when we talk about the good healthcare, there are 5 barriers to good healthcare. Number 1, awareness, access, acceptability, affordability and accountability. And modern medicines is trying to overcome this particular kind of barrier. But when we talk about the ancient ideas of Ayurveda, yoga, when we have the all traditional medications, we don't know whether they will be able to fulfill it or not. Okay, so this is all about this particular thing. Fine. So guys, I hope that you have understood it. Now moving to the next article. Now moving to the next article. Okay. Bring back Kohinoor from the UK Parliamentary panel notes in its report. bring back Kohinoor from the UK, parliamentary panel notes in its report. Okay, guys, any doubt, please ask. Bring back Kohinoor from the UK, parliamentary panel notes in its report. Okay, so basically guys, what has happened recently, the parliamentary committee has submitted the report, that is report on heritage theft. Okay, now this particular report, that is the report on the heritage theft, it proposes that there is lot of illegal trade in Indian antiquities that has happened. A lot of Indian statues, Indian idols, they have been illegally smuggled to the other foreign countries and they need to be brought back. Okay, so many Indian antiquities, Indian idols, they have been illegally smuggled, illegally transferred to the other countries, and the challenge is in retrieving these particular idols. We need to bring them back to safeguard our tangible cultural heritage. This particular proposal, we need to bring them back to restore, to preserve our tangible cultural heritage. It has been adopted by the Standing Committee on Transport, Tourism and Culture. Okay, and the efforts are being made to bring these idols, and actually guys, efforts are also have been made to bring the Kohinoor diamond back in India. Now when we talk about the Kohinoor diamond guys, Kohinoor diamond was taken up by the British today. So the British crown, on the British crown, the Kohinoor diamond has been affixed. Okay, this Kohinoor diamond also, there have been the demands that should be brought back, but can we bring it back? So basically Kohinoor diamond was surrendered to the Britishers by the Maharaja Dalip Singh as a part of 1849 peace treaty with the Britishers. So it was given, it was surrendered, it was given. Sometimes it has been said that it was an official gift. So point is that voluntarily Kohinoor diamond was given to the Britain and now it is the part of the British crown. Can we bring that back? So it has been said that we don't have legal competence to demand the return of the Kohinoor diamond. Moreover, as per the provisions of the Antiquities and Art Treasures Act of 1972, the Archaeological Survey of India takes the issues with respect to the retrieval of antiquities. If any idol of India got smuggled to other country, those initiatives are taken by the ASI. But only the things which have been illegally exported out of the country, those things can be brought back. Okay, but the things which have been given, surrendered, they cannot be brought back. Now this particular thing guys was also the Ministry of Culture stand in 2016 when they filed this affidavit in the Supreme Court and said we cannot brought back. Then there was a lot of public outrage that happened, and since then they have withdrawn that particular thing. But the point is that it cannot be brought because it has been surrendered by Maharaja Dalip Singh as a part of the British treaty. Okay, now moving to the next article. Center pushes vaccination as lumpy skin disease ravages cattle. Now guys, here what the government is focusing on, government is focusing on that for the lumpy skin diseases, vaccinations should be given to the cattle. Now why? Because the cases have increased. Now the article is talking that there are the 10,000 cases that have been reported in the past 2 weeks. The cases are coming from Uttarakhand, Karnataka, Sikkim, etc. You are not required to track the number of cases, etc. that are coming. But one thing is that what is this lumpy skin disease, how it is caused, how it can transmit. This is something which you should know for the examination. So let's talk about that. Okay, so guys, when we talk about the lumpy skin disease, so lumpy skin disease is caused by the lumpy skin disease virus, and this lumpy skin disease virus belongs to Pox viridae family, of viruses. And from this Pox viridae family of viruses, the smallpox virus, monkeypox virus, they are also the part of this particular same family. Now this lumpy skin disease, it is very much similar to the sheeppox virus, and the goatpox virus. Why? Because in the sheeppox and goatpox virus also the lumps, lesions, they develop on body. Now how this particular virus, it infects the cattle? So it is a contagious vector-borne disease which is spread by the mosquitoes, by biting flies, ticks. Okay, and most of the time it also spreads by one infected animal to the other healthy animal. So as per the FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization, infected animals also, they can spread the virus to the other animals through their nasal secretions, or through the bodily fluids. They can spread it to the other animals also. So by that particular thing. Now, when we talk about the spread of lumpy skin disease to India, so it has been speculated. Now, first of all, the lumpy skin disease, it was first observed in Zambia in 1929, and from Zambia it has spread to most of the African countries, and then to the West Asia, and then even to the Indian subcontinent. Now, when we talk about India, guys, understand this thing. According to the FAO, now you already know that India has a long porous borders between India, Nepal, Bangladesh, and through these borders, a lot of cattle transport also happens. From Nepal, Bangladesh, a lot of cattle are entering India, and from India they are going to the Nepal, Bangladesh. So it has been said that maybe from the Nepal and Bangladesh, which informal animal trade that is happening, this particular virus have entered in India, and since 2019, this particular outbreak in India also have begun. Okay, so in 2019 outbreak came, it got subsided, and now again it is coming. Now the question is that can it impact the humans? So basically, first of all, direct impact on humans has not been observed. Can it impact the human by consuming the milk? Suppose there is a cattle which has been cow infected by the lumpy skin disease. You consume the milk of that cow. Can you get infected with that? So basically, it has been said that when FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization, says that the large portion of the milk, it is pasteurized, or it is boiled, or it is dried before using, and this process will eliminate any virus, active or inactivated. So the milk is safe for human consumption. Up till now, there has not been credible reports that directly it is infecting the humans. So this is all about this lumpy skin disease. Okay. Then further, guys, we have this article. India planning to hold Quad meet in Japan, says Foreign Secretary. So already we have seen this thing that Indian Prime Minister will be visiting Japan, and on the sidelines, the Quad meeting will also happen. The major aspects of this particular article already we have discussed in the editorial article that has come. Okay. Then we have this mains practice question for today. The question says, India can retain its reputation in forging a fair balance between its conflicting interests across the global divide, while remaining a gracious and successful host as the world comes home for the G20 analyze. So this will be a GS paper number 2, 10 marker question. That is all, guys, about it. I hope, guys, that you have understood it. Fine. And now moving to the next, and now we'll be meeting tomorrow. Till then, please take, I will take the doubts that you are having. सो सीतामढ़ी सर बता रहे हैं योजना कुरुक्षेत्र डाउन टू अर्थ ज्योग्राफी एंड यू मैगजीन पढ़ना होगा सर। क्या आपके इस देखो, वन थिंग गाइज, अंडरस्टैंड दिस पर्टिकुलर थिंग दैट इवन इन द ज्योग्राफी द मेजर इशूज दैट आर देयर, फॉर एग्जांपल climate change, geological phenomena, El Nino, La Nina, okay, all these issues are important. I don't believe that you have to read these 4 or 5 magazines, for example Yojana, Kurukshetra, Down to Earth, Geography, and you all these magazines. Fine, point is that major issues will be covered in the newspaper, and if you want, you can pick up any one magazine. Down to Earth is good, okay, but every magazine for the geography optional you need to read, necessarily not the case. Why? Because apart from geography, other things also have to be done. First of all, focus on your static part, okay. Fine. Why dollar is the international trade? Why? See, Pooja, dollar is used as a currency for international trade. Why? Because dollar is the currency in which every country has a lot of faith, and as every country has a lot of faith, see, which currency will be used in international trade? Only that where a lot of faith is there, where a lot of acceptability is there, and the dollar is that because of their deep economic system, because of their political stability. Or Indian rupee or Chinese yen. Yen is not of China. China has yuan. Fine, they could be used, but the point is that again the confidence in these currencies. Okay, so that is all about it. Now we'll meet tomorrow, guys. Till then, please take care of